Good morning everyone, my name is Christian Raymondez and today we will be tackling about the discrimination index. So discrimination index, we will be tackling about the discrimination index and how to solve the discrimination index. And of course, we will be finding out how significant discrimination index in the item analysis. So first is, let's define discrimination index. What could be the discrimination index? So, discrimination index is the basic measure of the validity of an item. So the difference between the proportion of the upper group who got an item right and the proportion of the lower group who got the item right. So the total number of items will be divided into 25% on the upper group and then 25% on the lower group. So we will be further tackle about that later on. So the nature of the difference, however, can take different directions. So A is positively discriminating item, B is negatively discriminating item, C is not discriminating. So you will further understand what is the function of this the different directions later on. So calculating discrimination index. So in calculating discrimination index, you will use this formula. So D is equals to RU minus RL over 1/2 T, where RU is the number of upper group getting the item correct, RL is the number of lower group getting the item correct, and T is the number of either group. So steps. First is compute each student's score. So for example, count the number of the items each student got correct. Second, divide the class into groups on the basis of total score, where 25% highest scores and 25% lowest scores, just like what I have mentioned earlier. The middle group or the middle 50% is not needed in computing discrimination index. Third, for each item, count the number of students in the high scoring group that got the item correct. Fourth, divide this number by the total number in the high scoring group. Then fifth is repeat steps 3 and 4 for each item, this time using only the low scoring group. So number 6, for each item, subtract the proportion of low-scoring students who got the item right from the proportion of high-scoring students who got it right. So the remainder is the discrimination index. So the rules of thumb. So this is where the three directions will be included. So the index range will be -1 to -0.50, and the interpretation is can discriminate but the item is questionable. So the action should be taken is reject. Another index range is -0.55 and a 0.45. So non-discriminating the interpretation, and then the action will be revised. Then another one is 0.46 to 1.0. So discriminating item and retain. So for example, consider a multiple choice type of test of which the following data were obtained. So this is the data. So the options, the item 1 has 4 choices, which is the multiple choice. Then the total number of takers who chose that letter as their choice of answer is, to the letter A is 0, B is 40, C is 20, and letter D is 20. And then the upper group, letter B has the highest the highest number of takers who chose that specific choice. And then the lower group is the letter C. So how are we going to compute the discrimination index in this diagram? So we will proceed to using the formula that I have mentioned earlier. So the correct response is B. So DU is the upper group, 15 over 20, which is the index range is 0.75. DL is 5 over 20, so it is 0.25. Hence, DL is equals to there's discrimination index is equals to DU minus DL, which is the upper group minus lower group, is equals to 0.75 minus 0.25 equals 0.50 or 50%. So therefore, the item has a good discriminating power. So that is all about the discrimination index. I hope you learned something and thank you for watching. Bye-bye!